get out in places where you've never been, enjoy it, and figure out who you really are. All these different things that people say that you should do to find out who you really are is pointless. Drinking and smoking and partying and, you know, sleeping around and that type of stuff. How does that help you discover who you are?
All right, so if one thing is clear after today's experience recording this, it's that what I said in the last video could not be more true. I'm not an influencer. Man, when I tell you I've been struggling. I have this great idea. For a video. Literally, like, really good information. But I'm sitting here, I got all these YouTube videos that I've watched in my head. And my voice, everything changes to like match that. And it's not me, man. I consider myself a very articulate person. But once I start talking like this and blah, 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 and blah, 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 and blah, 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 I feel it in my chest. It's not it. I was even overthinking to the point where I'm using the selfie camera on the iPhone. And I used it for last video and it went perfectly. I had no redos. I hit record and went straight through. It was like 15 minutes of filming. I've been filming for like 2.5 hours and I don't have anything right now. Not one thing. I was sitting there trying to use the back camera, trying to get all super professional, and I completely lost who I am in the process. And isn't that just the perfect segue into the topic of today? So what I'm going to be doing in these, I'm going to call them off days. That sounded a lot better in my head. But because it's an off day for me, and that's typically when I find the time to make these little videos. The off day series. All right, let me know if y'all have a better name. Until then, sorry. It's gonna be called the off day series, okay? It's the off season, but we're in season. I'm in season, playing here in Germany, basketball, for those of you who don't know me. So this is the off day series. It's the off season. You guys are getting content in season. So it's the off day series. Perfect. It's perfect. If you got something even more perfect though, let me know in the comments, for sure. Whoo, this feels so much better. Let me tell you, that other stuff, man, I'm going straight into the recently deleted folder and just scrapping all of that. I think it's time to change locations. What do you think? Finding yourself. I'm not going to talk about how you can find yourself because I'm not you. That's literally impossible. What I can do though is share a couple of things, a couple of keys to success that help me successfully, as far as I know, find myself. And when I say a couple, I literally mean a couple. It's two. It's two keys and then 2 concepts. All right, but remember, this is just my experience. And finding yourself, as we saw, or as I saw today, is a never-ending process. Now, I never doubted that for a second. I knew that. But every time you find a new experience or encounter a new experience, you're gonna have to find yourself within that. Finding yourself is a process, not a destination. And man, I'm in the process. And unless this video is making it to Nirvana or Elysium or Heaven's Gates, I think you're in that process too. So let me share, and if you're picking up what I'm putting down, then I guess you can let me know with a little thumbs up or whatever you guys would prefer. So what do I mean by explore? Well, it could really be anything. It might be as simple as just getting up and going outside for a walk. Exploring to me is getting out of your current situation, getting out of your comfort zone, breaking the cycle. That's exploring. And today, I've done some exploring because I have been deep, because I have been way out of my comfort zone, way off the deep end. But I grew today because I was able to step up to the challenge and face the resistance of trying something new and come out a better man, at least I think. This hasn't been easy at all. And sometimes exploring feels better in certain settings. But almost always, when you're in a new environment, you're gonna run into challenges. So seek those challenges. Find something that's gonna push you to escape your comfort zone. Even the most amazing experiences are gonna present you with some challenges. My time in Barcelona presented tons of challenges. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you didn't see those, but trust me, they were there. Challenge number 1 was my Spanish is limited, to say the least. So when we were ordering food, we decided to just order a bunch of things that we thought we knew, and 9 out of the 10 things we ordered, we did know. Problem is, the one thing we didn't know happened to be sardines. So I ended up having to try some sardines. Now that's a challenge, but they ended up being better than I thought. Now, am I ordering them again when I go to Spain? No, I'll be ordering a chorizo sandwich, which was one of the many rewarding experiences of getting out of my comfort zone and going into a different country, a different city, a new environment, and just experiencing life to the fullest. But that doesn't mean you can't make those same experiences right where you are right now. Nature is free to experience. There's no cost. I've never seen a tree charge money. The air we breathe is also free. So there's no excuse not to be able to go out and explore. You really can't mess it up. The only way you mess it up is if you don't do it and stay in the cycle that you've been in, because you're not finding anything without going somewhere. So you took the challenge and decided to explore something new. But do we really gain anything out of the experience if we don't learn from it? I could be wrong, but in my opinion, the answer is no. When I was growing up, my parents and older kids, older people in my life would always tell me stories, and my goal became to use their experiences, their explorations in this life that we have to learn something, to get the cheat code to life. I spent a lot of my teenage years trying to crack the code, find the secret to leading the best life possible. I've always been very ambitious and very confident in who I am and what I can achieve. And so I was always looking for some kind of edge. But what these last couple of years have shown me is that there is no cheat code. But just because there's no cheat code doesn't mean we can't learn. And two things that have helped me become a better learner have been making a habit of reading and making a habit of reflecting. Because you can take in all the knowledge you want. If you don't take a second to process it and connect it to your life and your experiences, you didn't grow at all. So you can't have one without the other. You can't reflect on anything if you aren't learning anything, and you can't learn anything if you aren't reflecting on what you learned. So it's a double-edged sword, and you got to keep the balance between the two. Because I know I've spent many nights on YouTube going down the rabbit hole, just watching informational video after informational video after informational video, and not taking the time to really digest the information that had been given to me. I was being impatient. I was focused on the destination and not the process. I wanted everything to happen at once, thinking that the solution to my dissatisfaction was some kind of momentous event that was going to solve everything and catapult me into a perfect life. But by committing to exploring and reflecting, I was able to find the beauty in the process of things. This YouTube channel has been on a list of cold cases in my mind. Projects that I know I'm capable of completing and executing, but didn't have the patience to see through. My birthday's coming up at the end of this month, and during this time I have a tendency to reflect on how I lived the last year of my life. What did I learn? How did I grow? And growing up, I always thought I was very patient, but this year has shown me how much more patient I can be, how much more I can focus on the process, how much more I can enjoy and find pleasure in the simple things in life, the small things. And I'm super grateful for that. Earlier, I talked about a cheat code, something to supercharge your progress. And I know I said there isn't one, and I also know everyone's still looking for one, even though we all know there isn't a way to skip to the destination, because there is no destination. But I will give something that I've noticed that has supercharged my growth in a lot of different ways, and that's being alone. Now, that doesn't mean you have to close yourself off from the world, but those moments that you have where you're by yourself and you're bored, embrace those. Take a second and think about what's happening in your brain, what's making you want to escape that moment that you have to yourself. Why don't you value the time with yourself? And on the flip side, realizing that every moment you spend is going to be with yourself. So that's the relationship that you need to focus on first and foremost. We spend a lot of time trying to influence other people and make them like us. That's only natural. But if we don't like ourselves, and to take it a step further, if we don't even know ourselves, then how can we expect anyone else to like us and value us and love us for who we are? I think if we continue to ask ourselves that question, we'll end up right where we need to be. I'll see you soon.